读新闻学中文。Hello， 大家好，今天我们一起来读《纽约时报》中文网2024年8月20日的这篇报道。希拉里为贺锦丽站台，这次能否打破玻璃天花板？希拉里是 Hillary Clinton 的中文名字，贺锦丽是 Vice President 的中文名字。为谁站台？
Endorse, support someone publicly.
玻璃天花板 Glass ceiling.
The term glass ceiling refers to an invisible barrier that prevents certain individuals, particularly women and minorities, from advancing to higher positions despite their qualifications.
Clinton rallies Democrats behind Harris. This is when we break through.
芝加哥民主党大会首日，希拉里·克林顿发表讲话。希拉里·克林顿上一次在民主党全国大会上露面是2016年，地点在费城。当时他接受了其所在政党的总统候选人提名，而在场的观众则认为，在他与唐纳德·特朗普的选战中，希拉里可以轻松取胜。民主党全国大会
Democratic National Convention.
总统候选人提名
Presidential nomination.
轻松取胜 Win easily.
The last time Hillary Clinton appeared in person before a Democratic National Convention, the year was 2016. The city was Philadelphia, and Mrs. Clinton was accepting her party's nomination to run for president in what her audience thought would be a shoo-in of a race against Donald J. Trump.
我以我母亲的女儿，我女儿的母亲的身份站在这里，对这一天的到来感到欣喜万分。克林顿在当晚说道，这是第一次有女性成为主要政党的总统提名人。欣喜万分
Extremely delighted.
Standing here as my mother's daughter and my daughter's mother, I'm so happy this day has come. Mrs. Clinton, the first woman nominated for president by a major party, said that night.
8年后，处于半退休状态的克林顿回到民主党大会，这一次是在芝加哥，他要为一位女性喝彩，也就是正在试图完成她的未竟事业的贺锦丽。从76岁的前第一夫人到59岁的副总统，这是2代人的交接棒，而大会本身也被世代更替的话题完全占据。未竟事业 Unfinished business 交接棒
Passing the baton. A metaphor for transferring responsibility or leadership from one person to another, often used in generational or succession contexts.
世代更替的
Generational change. The process of one generation being replaced or succeeded by another in positions of power or influence.
被谁占据
Dominated by. To be fully controlled or influenced by a particular topic or issue.
8 years later, Mrs. Clinton came out of semi-retirement to return to a Democratic convention, this time in Chicago, to celebrate a woman, Kamala Harris, who is trying to do what Ms. Clinton was unable to do, win. It was a generational handoff at a convention that has become all about generational change, from a 76-year-old former First Lady to the 59-year-old Vice President.
同时，这也是一个痛心的提醒，让人们想起克林顿曾经距离打破最高、最坚硬的玻璃天花板多么接近。这是他在自己的退选演讲中说的话。痛心的
Poignant. Causing a strong feeling of sadness or regret.
退选演讲 Concession speech.
A speech given by a candidate acknowledging their defeat in an election and offering support to the winner.
But it was also a poignant reminder of how close Mrs. Clinton came to breaking the highest and hardest glass ceiling, as she had put it in her concession speech.
今晚，他在周一晚说，我们眼看就要一举打破这一切。我想告诉你们，我透过这一道道裂痕看到了什么，以及为什么这一切对我们所有人如此重要。一举打破
Breakthrough once and for all. To overcome a significant obstacle completely and decisively.
裂缝就是 cracks.
Tonight, she said on Monday night, So close to breaking through once and for all, I want to tell you what I see through all those cracks and why it matters for each and every one of us.
在玻璃天花板的那一面，是贺锦丽在举起手，宣誓就任我们的第47任合众国总统。克林顿说，他的声音被纷纷起立的代表们的欢呼声所淹没。被谁所淹没？
Drowned out by. To be completely overpowered, or covered by another sound, such as applause or cheers.
On the other side of that glass ceiling is Kamala Harris, raising her hand and taking the oath of office as our 47th President of the United States, Mrs. Clinton said, her words drowned out by the cheers of delegates rising to their feet.
从很多方面讲，克林顿的这次露面是民主党对这位女性的一次迟到的致敬。从1992年纽约那场提名丈夫比尔的大会起，她就一直是本党的一张熟悉的面孔。2020年的大会上，克林顿的脸出现在大屏幕上，她在纽约州查帕阔的家中通过远程连线讲话，体现了新冠大流行期间的诸事简办。迟到的致敬 Much delayed honor 诸事简办
Pared down convention. A simplified or reduced version of an event, typically due to external circumstances such as a pandemic.
In many ways, Mrs. Clinton's appearance was a much-delayed opportunity for Democrats to honor this woman who has been a fixture in the party since 1992, when a convention in New York nominated her husband, Bill, to run for president. In 2020, Mrs. Clinton addressed the convention remotely, a face on a screen, speaking from her living room in Chappaqua, NY, a reflection of the pared-down convention staged in the middle of the coronavirus pandemic.
这一次，她走上舞台，迎接她的是全场的欢呼和掌声。克林顿足足用了超过90秒，才让人群安静下来，开始讲话。在会场里，一些代表看到她重返舞台，不禁流下眼泪。重返舞台就是 return to the stage.
To come back to a public or important position after a period of absence.
This time, she stepped out onto the stage and was greeted with wall of cheers and applause that lasted more than 90 seconds before Mrs. Clinton was able to quiet the crowd and begin speaking. In the hall, some delegates wept as they watched her return to the stage.
她给了我们相信的希望。35岁的德州奥斯堡人麦拉米尔斯切尔哈特说，他形容玻璃天花板是一种透明的东西，你可以透过它看到那边的世界，这很美好。
She gave me the hope to believe, said Myra Mills Chihart, 35, of Fort Worth, Texas. She's talking about the glass ceiling as something you look through, something you can see through. It's just beautiful.
这位前第一夫人首先提到，她的母亲多罗西·罗德姆在芝加哥出生时，女性还没有投票权。克林顿讲了1984年，他带着女儿切尔西去看杰拉尔丁·费拉罗，为这位史上首位获得副总统提名的女性喝彩。他回忆了自己在2016年费城的那个时刻，投票权 right to vote。The
former First Lady began by noting that her mother, Dorothy Rodham, was born in Chicago before women had the right to vote. Mrs. Clinton described taking her daughter, Chelsea, to see Geraldine Ferraro be celebrated in 1984 as the first woman nominated as vice president. And she recalled her own moment in 2016 in Philadelphia.
我们再来整体听一下。希拉里为贺锦丽站台，这次能否打破玻璃天花板？芝加哥民主党大会首日，希拉里·克林顿发表讲话。希拉里·克林顿上一次在民主党全国大会上露面是2016年，地点在费城。当时他接受了其所在政党的总统候选人提名，而在场的观众则认为，在他与唐纳德·特朗普的选战中，希拉里可以轻松取胜。我以我母亲的女儿，我女儿的母亲的身份站在这里，对这一天的到来感到欣喜万分。克林顿在当晚说道， 这是第一次有女性成为主要政党的总统提名人。8年后，处于半退休状态的克林顿回到民主党大会，这一次是在芝加哥，他要为一位女性喝彩，也就是正在试图完成她的未竟事业的贺锦丽。从76岁的前第一夫人到59岁的副总统，这是2代人的交接棒，而大会本身也被世代更替的话题完全占据。同时，这也是一个痛心的提醒，让人想起克林顿曾经距离打破最高最坚硬的玻璃天花板多么接近。这是他在自己的退选演讲中说的话。今晚他在周一晚说，我们眼看就要一举打破这一切，我想告诉你们，我透过这一道道裂缝看到了什么，以及为什么这一切对我们所有人如此重要。在玻璃天花板的那一面，是贺锦丽在举起手宣誓就任我们的第47任合众国总统。克林顿说，他的声音被纷纷起立的代表们的欢呼声所淹没。从很多方面讲，克林顿的这次露面是民主党对这位女性的一次迟到的致敬。从1992年纽约那场提名丈夫比尔的大会起，她就一直是本党的一张熟悉的面孔。2020年的大会上，克林顿的脸出现在大屏幕上，她在纽约州查帕阔的家中通过远程连线讲话，体现了新冠大流行期间的诸事减半。这一次她走上舞台，迎接她的是全场的欢呼和掌声。克林顿足足用了超过90秒才让人群安静下来，开始讲话。在会场里，一些代表看到他重返舞台，不禁流下眼泪。他给了我们相信的希望。35岁的德州奥斯堡人麦拉米尔斯·切尔哈特说，他形容天花板是一种透明的东西，你可以透过它看到那边的世界，这很美好。这位前第一夫人首先提到，她的母亲多罗西·罗德姆在芝加哥出生时，女性还没有投票权。克林顿讲了1984年他带着女儿切尔西去看杰拉尔丁·费拉罗，为这位历史上首位获得副总统提名的女性喝彩。他回忆了自己在2016年费城的那个时刻。